Hello guys, how are you guys? Oh my god, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Um, it's been a really busy day in my world. I woke up this morning to my inbox exploding, like absolutely exploding, and multiple people asking me, like, what is going on with the Duggars? Did Josh Duggar get arrested? Is there something going on with Josh Duggar? So, sorry you guys, I gotta fix my face. Okay. I started doing some digging. And what I have for you is kind of interesting and and stuff is still sort of piling in as more information is learned. Um, but, a lot is going on here. So, I woke up this morning and there was someone saying, oh, somebody leaked some information on Reddit or on Facebook that there was a raid, an FBI raid at the Duggar compound. Now, obviously, when you have this kind of information coming forward, you have to be really careful. And I still don't know if it's happened, but as more and more information is starting to be revealed, there seems to be something going on in Duggar land. We just don't know what. There's been absolutely no reports in the media. However, my friend who is at No Longer Quivering, Suzanne, who has been following the Quiverful movement for over 10 years on her blog and was instrumental with the media in 2015 as related to Josh Duggar's Ashley Madison case and the issues with the molestation of his sisters. Suzanne and I started talking and trying to compare notes, and some of the things just didn't add up and were not typical. And so obviously knowing that Suzanne is a credible person to me, like I trust her. I have known her for like a year and a half. I've worked with her. I know her, like she's the kind of person that's careful about information. And so we started doing some digging and we found some discrepancies, and I'll show you what we found. And I'll show you what's still coming in as more people are talking. Now, if it would have been one source, it would have been different. But now there's two separate people that appear to be disconnected. And then I had a third person who was on the ground in in the area near Springdale where the Duggars live, who actually has video of the house and has confirmation about some little odd things going on in the Duggar world, which are not typical again. So let me just show you how it all started. So late last week, Derick Dillard started talking about how Jim Bob had not been paying people. He was talking about how Jim Bob negotiated for things with TLC. He didn't tell anyone. He talked about TLC was worried more about making money. And it said, so if they can blame corruption on somebody else but still get away with the benefits, they will happily do so. And then they said, does that include counting on or TLC or both? He says, and then he says, TLC has issues. They begged us not to quit filming and then didn't want to talk directly with us about why. If money is all they care about, then it's going to catch up with them. You must care about people. All I've got to say is they better lawyer up because a storm is inevitable. And then he wrote, I don't think you understand how our legal system works. You don't get a pass on justice just because you have resources. That might work if it's a close call, but not otherwise. You just might not hear about it because they settle out of court. And then earlier today, he also responded by saying, someone said to him, like, well, if you were going to sue, wouldn't that have already happened? And he says, you talk as though you know what happens behind closed doors. You don't know our story. And then this was the blind item that was leaked today, and that's Pathio's, which is her No Longer Quivering site. And it says, a reliable source in Arkansas just shared that the FBI is raiding a home of a certain former reality star with a very controversial past. And they said, the information came from a lawyer who works in Arkansas. I have a private group of sorority sisters where we dish on reality, and it's in a group, and she's very connected in Arkansas law issues. And then this was like more of that same conversation. This was actually shared on Reddit. And in there, they actually say that Anna's, about to give birth. And she says that sources didn't say what someone in the message chat guessed child pornography. And then the source said, a lawyer confirmed. And then there was another blind item in the end of October that said the feds have opened an investigation into a reality star with a massive family. They're looking into tax evasion and money laundering. Oh, and get this, it's over. One of them is human trafficking. So then yesterday, Anna Duggar shared this, and it was she also shared the same thing on Instagram, and it says baby number 6 will arrive soon, and it reminds me that parenting is a blessing and unpredictable. And then that linked to an article with Us Weekly. So shortly after all of that happened, Anna ends up actually deleting that photo on Instagram, and then she suddenly disables all of her comments on Instagram. And now her comments are still at limited, and it's odd because Suzanne, my friend at No Longer Quivering, actually noted to me that even in 2015, when everything was going down with Josh, like when the Ashley Madison stuff broke, she never like disabled comments or limited comments. In fact, she never like went on a social media lockdown, and that's actually what has gone on here. All of her posts have limited comments on them, meaning no one can post, but the older comments remain. A lot of people were commenting and asking questions, and she was deleting things as quickly as they came in. And for a short period today, Jed, his brother, Jed Duggar also had parts of his Instagram to say unlimited comments, although they're now opened again. But most interesting is that no one in the Duggars has posted anything today except for Ginger shared a photo on her Instagram, but Ginger's not in the state of Arkansas. She actually lives in California. But the very typically busy Duggars have not posted a thing. Jill hasn't posted at all. Derrick hasn't posted. Jessa only posted the last time Jessa posted was yesterday. Jana hasn't posted in several days. The last time the Jim Bob and Michelle posted was 2 days ago, and they typically post like 2 or 3 things a day. And then my source that is connected to this area that actually goes to the same church it's a large church that has multiple campuses that has friends in the same church as the Duggars, noted that none of the Duggars were at church today. So not very typical. So then, this was posted by a credible leaker on Reddit that says, I don't know anything about the raid, but there was apparently a team of reporters at the Duggar-owned car dealership last night, hoping to have a local drive-by at the various properties to look for government vehicles later today. And there you can see that Jed's comments were disabled for a while today. You can see that her comments have been limited on Anna's post. The last time Jessa posted was a day ago. That was the last post by Jill, which was 24 hours ago. And then people on Reddit or on Twitter were like, was your husband arrested by the FBI? I'm dying to know if this is true. Hopefully he'll finally be held accountable. Anna, is it true that you were raided by the FBI and tax evasion? And then people were sharing Suzanne's article. And it was rumored that maybe Derrick was involved. But then this came in, and this was why I was late, because this came in later. And it says, I live in the Fayetteville area, and I have a reliable source who's involved in this case. They told me that the investigation started because someone caught Josh with a minor and reported him to CPS. The FBI kept an eye on him for a long time, and I think they finally have enough on him to arrest him. There's also talk about Jim Bob and one of the older Duggar sons, I don't know which one, maybe John David, being investigated too. And then they went on to say, I wasn't told how old the minor was, but my source said that if the minor was over 15 years old, the FBI likely would not have gotten involved. I don't know why any news outlets haven't picked anything up yet. I'm not comfortable disclosing anything about my source because they're really involved in this case, and I'm not sure they're allowed to share this kind of information. It does not look like anyone has been arrested yet. So then my source that's on the ground in Fayetteville near the Duggar property, which is rural, they actually drove by the Duggar house and noted that there was some interesting aspects here because it was unusually quiet. They said they drive by the property a lot, and there's usually a lot of busyness. It's usually packed with cars, and you sometimes will see people, lots of kids playing outside. And this is what they had this is what they have for you. So as you can see, there's like not that many cars there. My source said that there's typically a lot of cars on the property at any given time. And then my source also noted that while they were driving through, I think it's called Tontitown, which is the small town that they actually live in right outside of Springdale near Fayetteville. They said that they saw cops in full gear, which is not typical. It could have been completely unrelated, but they said there's never like visible police around there because it's a rural part of Arkansas. And then she noted that, as you can see there's not a lot of cars there, which is, again, she said, not typical. She said usually the property is extremely bustling. It's a Sunday. Theoretically, this would have been after church, so they should have like been, gathering there. But again, she said that they were not seen at church. And I'll just show you the rest.
Also, not a lot of cars there either.
That's a cool little.
That's the fort they built. See back in the back, babe. Gates.
Property, it's really large. They have a lot of outbuildings on there. I asked her if she noted if she saw any Duggar cars when she drove past the police station. She told me that because of their car lot, the cars are always changing in and out, which is odd. Which is typical. So she said she never knows like what they're driving. But she said that when she normally drives past that property, which she does quite a bit, there's usually way more cars than that, and it's way more busy. So then she reached out to her friends at church, who said that no, the Duggars were not there. We've got the Duggars not posting at all on Instagram. We have Anna not actually completely shutting down her comments on her Instagram. And I'm just going to update here real quick. There is... he said, I can't... They actually said, what's the charge here? And he says, I can't say. I was just told that they're being investigated for endangerment of a minor and something to do with their finances. So that's kind of where it's at right now. It's they're still trying to verify everything, but there's two separate sources now that have come forward basically stating that there's something going on according to these sources. Again, nothing has been yet confirmed, but my friend Suzanne did note and pointed out to me that if anything was going to be done by the FBI in terms of a press conference or anything sort of releasing a press release, nothing would happen on a Sunday. It would only be released on a Monday. They would never put anything out on a day where people are super busy. They would do it when people are back to work and are more likely to see the news. And with a case this big, they would probably wait until, the appropriate time. Another factor that could be a part here is that there's been this young girl that's been staying with them that is not related to them, but they refer to her as Cousin Emily. Now, she's apparently around 11 years old, and she is apparently a friend of somebody's, it's a daughter of somebody's friend who has been staying with Josh and Anna as a family helper. And she had previously shared quite a few pictures of cousin Emily, but now my several people that have sent me contact information in my inbox and my social medias have noted that Anna has scrubbed quite a few photos of Emily from her social media, and they're no longer there. With an allegation of child endangerment, tax issues. And see, here's the thing is he says Derrick's not involved, but if there's looking at something to do with the finances, could it be the non-payment? If they're looking at Jim Bob, could the human trafficking aspect be related to essentially forced labor by Jim if he's not paying the kids for their work on TLC? It's hard to know, but there's kind of like a lot of smoke brewing here. Like, I always have the sense that like if there's smoke, there's fire. So until there's like official word, all of this obviously is rumor, but there's so many things here that that something doesn't look right. You know what I mean? Like something looks off here. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see, and I will certainly update as we know more. But we already know that Josh, I mean, this wouldn't be surprising, sadly. If he was caught with a minor child, he already has admitted as a kid to molesting his 4 sisters and a babysitter. His parents downplayed it. This was the season that Jim Bob and Michelle actually showed back up on Counting On. That might have prompted some active response from people, and people were really angry when Jim Bob and her showed back up on the show, given the fact that they were supposed to be fired for how they handled Josh's issues. There's been so much, and Derrick, most interestingly, has been responding to old tweets, which is really something that Suzanne and I talked about. Why is Derrick going back into old tweets and responding to them about the finance stuff? Why is he talking about a storm could be coming? They better lawyer up. Like, what is it that he knows? Was he involved in the financial component? Was he the one that tipped them off about this stuff with Josh? Derrick and Jill seem to have an estranged relationship from the rest of the family. But so they said, the source says that all of this will come out in due time in terms of who the person is. This is messy. So messy. So that's where we're at right now. So here's the thing. I've got someone in Fayetteville who drove past the house. I've got someone else in Fayetteville who's got someone connected to the case. So something's going on, but we just don't know what. We're going to have to hang tight. I will keep you posted as soon as I know more. I will continue to do my digging. As far as like the local reporters or the local news, there may not be anything reported yet because there hasn't been yet an arrest. Having your property like searched doesn't necessarily always lead to arrests, but I don't know that any of us would be surprised if this did come down to Josh perpetrating on a child again. I don't think he ever got the proper counseling. I don't think he ever had the proper help. He went away to like one of those Bible, like, beat the crap out of the person camps and work your butt off camps and not actually deal with what's going on with you. And in a lot of cases like this, perpetrators are not reformable, and he may fall within that category. Someone else noted in these forums that if it is the FBI and it does relate to the child stuff and it is a younger child, then it could potentially be a long prison sentence if he were to be arrested. And how this will all play out will remain to be seen. Hopefully more will come out soon. And again, as I learn more, I will tell you more. Something isn't right in Duggarville. We'll figure out more soon. If you guys have tips or you're in the local area, make sure you reach out to me. Thank you to all of my subscribers that are in the local area that have sent me information and that continue to keep me abreast of what's going on. Without you, I wouldn't be able to deliver this type of news. At this point, nothing has been confirmed, but again, things are looking like there's something up in Arkansas. All right, you guys, I'll be back in a little while. Bye.